Many couples find themselves in a spiritual rut that affects every area of their relationship. Discover how to reignite your 20-plus year marriage through deeper spiritual connection.
Are you tired of your marriage not growing? You're not alone. Welcome to Why Your Marriage Isn't Growing, a podcast helping couples reignite their relationship, break free from the trap of just getting along, and rediscover the joy and passion they once had. Welcome back. My name is Greg.
My name is Carolyn. Today's episode offers a pathway to renewed connection and purpose through intentional spiritual practice.
You'll also discover why your spiritual disconnection might be a hidden cause of your marital plateau after decades together. A revitalization prayer practice that brings fresh intimacy to long-term marriages. How to break through spiritual stagnation and experience renewed purpose as a couple. Point number one, why spiritual disconnection might be a hidden cause of your marital plateau after decades together. Now, what is that? It's the gradual spiritual drift that happens in long-term marriages when faith becomes individual rather than shared, and how this creates invisible barriers to deeper connection.
Ecclesiastes 4:12 said, "A person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two can stand back to back and conquer. Three are even better, for a triple braided cord is not easily broken."
That's amazing.
Many established marriages have strong practical partnerships, but have lost the spiritual dimension that provides deeper meaning and resilience.
So you are asking yourself, well, what do I do? We asked ourselves that too. We want you to share in the comments below one tip that you actually did or thought about doing. Take an honest inventory of your spiritual life as a couple. Has your faith journey become parallel paths rather than a shared journey? Identify one area where you can begin reintegrating your spiritual lives. Just one. You don't have to be rocket science. Just isolate one thing in your life that needs an adjustment and a realignment, and then just tackle that. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, you have to tackle. Can't just let things go on and do nothing about it.
Okay. All right.
So let's talk about point number 2. Revitalizing prayer practice that brings fresh intimacy to long-term marriages. And remember when we didn't used to pray together?
Yes.
Makes a difference.
It makes a difference. We have something we've been utilizing and we want to share that with you. It's called CARES. It's a prayer framework designed specifically for seasoned marriages. CARES, celebration, alignment, renewal, empowerment, and surrender. Once you start utilizing this format, I promise you, this will help your marriage. And the reason why I say that, because after decades together, prayer can become routine or neglected. This framework helps couples move beyond surface level requests to prayers that address the deeper needs of mature relationships. This can actually be for new marriages as well, but we're speaking to the seasoned people that have been married for 20 years plus, like ourselves, because we've been married for 40 years, and we still practice these things. Well, you know what? I'm going to turn that over to Carolyn. I want you to share with the audience what action steps they can actually do.
Okay. You can set aside 10 minutes daily to pray through one of the elements of CARES framework. One is celebration. Thank God for specific ways your spouse has been faithful over the years.
That's good. That's very good.
Pray for unity in your current season and vision for the years ahead.
You have to have a vision.
Got a vision. 3, renewal. Ask for fresh perspective on familiar patterns and challenges. 4, empowerment. Pray for each other's purpose and calling in this stage of life. And the one I love best, surrender. Release long-standing expectations or disappointments to God together.
When you practice these formulas and framework, what it does is it allows you to assess what the situation is and deep dive into it, and you're not just winging it. We're talking to people that are 20 years plus, and you're still wanting to keep your marriage fresh. That leads us to the third point, which is how to break through spiritual stagnation and experience renewed purpose as a couple. You have to have a purpose, a vision, because if you don't know where you're going, you will let any and everybody lead you somewhere. Now, you've been married for 20 plus years, but now you're listening to these outside voices. So what does that actually look like when you're listening to them? Here's some of the things you can do. Practical ways to move from comfortable spiritual routines to meaningful spiritual connection that fuels your marriage on the next chapter.
And that really is the beginning of how to break through spiritual stagnation and experience renewed purpose as a couple.
And that's why many couples who've been married for 20 plus years have settled into spiritual patterns that no longer foster growth. Just like if you don't feed it, it won't grow. It'll die. If you feed it the proper nourishment and give it the right kind of stuff that it needs, it will grow. Isaiah 43:19, read to them what the prophet Isaiah is saying about what many couples have begun to do by selling for spiritual patterns.
I am about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in the dry waste land.
That reminds us that God is doing a new thing. Your spiritual journey together isn't meant to plateau, meaning you're not meant to just reach a certain level and then that's it. No, you're supposed to keep seeking for higher grounds and brighter and bigger things to do. That's why it says to always be growing. My grandmother shared something with me a long time ago. She said, the moment you stop growing and reading and listening is the day that you should die. I want to constantly be growing, learning, and listening. Carolyn and I have been married for 40 years. You would think that we know it all. We don't have the be-all, do-all. What we have is a desire to pay it forward. And hopefully inside of this podcast, someone is going to get this and understand what to do. So here's what you do. Choose one spiritual disruption to implement this month. See what I'm saying?
And what those are?
I definitely want you to share that with them because people a lot of times get a lot of information, but they don't take action steps. You might be out walking, like I walk in the mornings and I listen to podcasts and I get a lot of information and I'll come back and I'll share it with my wife and I say, hey, I heard what so-and-so said on this particular podcast. You might want to take a listen to it. So you might be out walking, you might be at wherever you are at the sound of our voice, pay close attention to what Carolyn is going to share with you on creating a spiritual disruption.
Study a book of the Bible you've never explored before. Serve in a ministry area that stretches you as a couple. Share your testimonies with each other as if hearing them for the first time. That's powerful. Create a shared spiritual bucket list for this season of your marriage. And last but not least, commit to praying for another couple facing challenges.
That's powerful. And I promise you, if you start this right now and do this going forward, share your testimonies with each other as if hearing them for the first time. I share my testimony every week on Thursdays and Sundays to the congregation. I share because I want God to know that I am so grateful and so humble that he chose me to share this. Create a shared spiritual bucket list. So Carolyn and I are always sitting down working out something like, hey, what are we going to do? What are we going to do today? What are we going to do this week? What are we going to do this month? What are our plans for this year? And we do this at the beginning of the year. And we don't always hit the mark because life comes in.
You have to be flexible. Stuff happens to your plans. But we do have a calendar that we look at each day. So let's give you what I think is a powerful message to air. After decades of marriage, your spiritual connection isn't meant to plateau. It's designed to deepen like tree roots, growing further into rich soil. The most vibrant chapter of your spiritual journey together may be just beginning if you're willing to seek God with renewed intentionality.
See, that part right there I love. If you're willing to seek God with renewed intentionality, you have to intentionally want this to work. You have to purposely sit down and say, okay, Lord, it's not by my might, but your might. I want this to continue to work. The more we edify and build God up, God will edify and build us up. So that's intentional. and further into rich soil.
And if you're a gardener, you know how important that rich soil is.
Yes, because whatever you feed will
Grows.
grow. You have to ask yourself this question. Do you want your marriage to continue to grow? If the answer is yes, then put that in the comments and let us know, when are you going to start this process? Effective communication is vitally important in a marriage if you want it to work. Let me recap some of the things we've gone over. Hopefully and prayerfully, you've heard something that's going to spark something in your life so you can start that process this month. Study a book of the Bible you've never explored together. That was deep. We identified how spiritual disconnection creates invisible barriers in long-term marriage. We learned the CARES prayer framework that addresses the unique needs of established relationships. You definitely want to pay close attention to that and start doing that today. We discovered practical spiritual disruptions to break through stagnation, because stagnant water will not breathe. It just dies and it stinks. And you don't want your marriage to stink. You want your marriage to smell good. When people see you, you want them to see the Christ in you in your marriage. My wife has a tendency to be able to read a person by their eye movement. I can read a couple when they open their mouths and start communicating with one another. The empty nest and retirement years can become the most spiritually vibrant seasons of your marriage. And that's where Carolyn and I are. God has fresh purpose for your relationship, even after decades together. And this is so encouraging to me. We got 40 years. That's 4 decades. That's incredible. I didn't think I'd make 4 months, let alone 4 decades, and be able to do what we're doing right now, sharing this information with you. So closing up, I just want to say thank you for joining us today. New episodes released every Monday and Thursday. So be sure to follow us everywhere you're listening. If today's message resonated with your long-term marriage, please share it with anybody and all couples who might need this encouragement. To God be the glory.